Beyond the Badge with your Oshkosh Police Department.
Thank you for joining us today for this episode of Beyond the Badge. Joining me today, I have two fine ladies from Reach Counseling and from the Christine Ann Domestic Abuse Center. Thank you for joining me today, ladies.
Yeah, thank you.
So first off, Marianne, can you tell me about Take Back the Night?
Yes, absolutely. So Take Back the Night is an annual event that we have here in Oshkosh. It's also something that happens around the world. And here in Oshkosh, we've been having the event for 28 years, I think, this year.
Wow, that's a long
I have not
time.
been involved in all of them, but I've been around for a little bit. So thank you for having us on to talk about it this year. But basically, the event is meant to raise awareness about sexual assault and domestic violence. So that's what we do here. And this year it's coming up on October 24th at Reeve Union at UW Oshkosh. So it's a little later in October this year. We're hoping for good weather.
Yes,
and
fingers crossed.
Yes,
Yes.
no snow.
Yeah.
So we are back in Reeve Union as well. So in the past few years we've had it at the Alumni Center, but we've relocated back to Reeve so people can find us there on October 24th.
Sounds good. So tell me the background behind Take Back the Night. Why do we do it? Who participates?
Sure. So Take Back the Night, I believe the first ever rally was in the 70s to protest a woman who was walking home alone and was subsequently raped and murdered. And it was just a way to take to the streets and say this violence is not okay. You know, we deserve to be safe when we're walking home, if we're alone, whether it's day or night. So it's a way to rally and really have our voices be heard that this type of violence is unacceptable. And so that's what we do in Oshkosh is, you know, have this event every October and to express the same message that women, and I mean really everyone deserves to be safe out in the community when they're walking around. So the people that work on the event here in town are people from Reach, myself and our campus victim advocate, Sierra. Alicia from Christine Ann is on the committee as well, and we have a few representatives from UW Oshkosh.
Wow. And how many participants do you think you have each year?
So we unofficially think that we are the largest event in the state.
Wow,
A lot
that's
of times
impressive.
a lot of times Take Back the Nights can kind of be just like open mic, like little rallies, but ours seems to be a bit more formal. You know, we have a program, so the event will start at 5 with activities and a resource fair like we usually do, and then continue from there. So we'll have the activities, the resources, and so folks can come and check all those out and hear the survivor speaker, of course.
So do you see a whole different group of people? Like do you see young and old, different occupations and backgrounds? Do you see a whole variety of people that attend this?
We do, we really do. So it's nice because it's in Oshkosh, it's on campus, so we really get a blend of campus and community members, and we do kind of see the same people coming year after year, but yes, along a big spectrum of ages and occupations and all types of things, because really these issues affect everybody. So some people, you know, if they have a connection to the cause, maybe they know somebody that's been affected or they have themselves by these issues, they come to support and raise that awareness.
Wow. And it's an important message that you guys send out. Wow. And what time is that on October 24th?
5 p.m. starting at Reeve Union.
Okay.
And so we'll have, like I said, the activities and the resources, moving into the rally component with our survivor speaker and some education, and then the march should start around 6:45.
And about how long is that march? Is it like
I think
half
it's
a
about
mile?
45 minutes. It
Oh,
usually
that's a
takes.
good walk. Okay.
Yeah, 30 to 45 minutes, and we'll wrap up again at Reeve Union. And we will, for anyone who wants to stay, we'll be heading up to the Stein-Hilber Gallery. So every year we have an art exhibit there where we work collaboratively with a community artist named Michael Wartgo, and he creates art based on survivor stories.
Wow, that's
so
amazing.
those will be up in the gallery, I believe, from October 24th to November 21st. And this year we're focusing on the stories of marginalized survivors, so those that we may not be hearing their stories very often. Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. Yeah. Now, can you tell me a little bit about Christine Ann Center and domestic violence and the Domestic Violence Awareness Month?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, so it's a pretty big month. Especially, it's great that Take Back the Night is happening during this month too, to bring more awareness to domestic violence and also sexual assault. And Christine Ann, we are a 37-bed emergency shelter for individuals and families who are experiencing domestic abuse. So we primarily serve Winnebago and Green Lake counties. So that's kind of our reach.
And Green Lake too?
Yes.
Wow, okay.
Yep, so we are out in Green Lake. We have advocates that are traveling and meeting outreach clients out in Green Lake who maybe don't need the shelter, but still need to meet with an advocate, get that emotional support and options and resources. So.
And then do you work in the schools as well?
Yes, we certainly do. So we have a youth team where they are specifically working with all age ranges of children, birth to 18 years old, children who have are displaying more aggressive behaviors, children who are experiencing violence in their homes, just need that little bit extra support. We do have advocates that meet in the schools with them for maybe just like a half-hour chunk of their day, just make sure they're okay and providing that support for them. We also have a community educator who goes and does presentations on domestic violence and sexual assault. So.
Wow, very important things to talk about, especially
Absolutely.
the kids. And even if they're there for just that half an hour each day just to check in and have that stability, I think is amazing. Now, with the holiday coming up, I wanted to ask you guys, what are your needs? If the community wants to give to both your programs, what are things you guys would need?
Sure, so I'll start. We have a child therapist who sees kids between 4 and 12 free of charge, which is wonderful. So we're able to meet, the most vulnerable clients. All the children that we do see have reported or disclosed some type of sexual abuse, neglect, physical abuse. So we know that these are kids and families in need. And the fact that we can see them for free removes a financial barrier, because a lot of times the families we see don't have a lot of money. If we did have to have them pay for services, they may not be able to come. So that being said, they're often struggling to come up with gifts for their children around the Christmas time as well. So we have received donations of just different toys and things that kids between 4 and 12, boys and girls, would like to get for Christmas. So that's always been a wonderful thing that the community has provided for us. So for our children's program, definitely.
But new toys, right?
Correct.
Are preferred
yes, we
because
would
of
prefer,
allergies.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. So new from the store. It could be toys. It could be games. It could also be clothing. So anything that a child might like.
Wonderful. And what would your needs be for this month and also for the holiday season?
Yeah, well, right now we are running pretty low on body wash. So that's a big need currently. For the holidays though, we look for winter jackets, snow pants, boots of all sizes. So for the individuals who are coming into shelter and maybe they just have the clothes on their backs, it's really important that we give them as much as possible and set them up, so that they are prepared for the cold and frigid weather. So we try to give them coats and snow pants, and so we look for new items like that as well that we can give out. Like Marianne was saying too, children's toys, different board games. We're looking for things like that, and we always have an updated needs list on our website, so people can check on there and see our current needs for the month and for the holiday season.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, that's helpful for everybody. And again, too, you need the new toys and clothing too because of allergies and whatnot.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So do you guys see a lot of crossover between Reach Counseling and the Christine Ann Center? And if so, can you guys explain that to me?
Sure, yeah, sometimes. So sexual violence absolutely can occur within domestic violence, right? So if it's sexual assault between a partner or just a sexual assault victim that becomes displaced because of what happened to them, sometimes they may end up residing at Christine Ann. So as an advocate at Reach, a lot of times I will be working with other advocates at Christine Ann to facilitate services, whether that's this client doesn't have transportation, but they're here at the shelter. Can you come down and meet with them? Absolutely. Sometimes people conflate the two issues, DV, domestic violence, and sexual assault, so they'll come to Christine Ann looking for help after they've been raped. So they'll call in a Reach advocate and we'll come to help them understand what their resources are and what their next steps can be. So we absolutely do see a lot of crossover, and yeah, I think we work real well, handling that bridge.
And I think, the police department too then gets incorporated with your two organizations as well too. So it's a good way for us to help people in need in our community.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you want to talk more about the Christine Ann Center and the different services that you offer clients?
Sure, yeah. So when someone comes, either calls our 24-hour helpline or they're coming and seeking shelter, there is somebody there who automatically is going to provide emotional support for that individual. There may be people who are calling and they are not ready to leave yet. They are afraid. It's a very intimidating situation and can be very dangerous. So
Why can it be dangerous? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
yeah, absolutely. Leaving is oftentimes the most dangerous time in an abusive relationship because it's when the abusive partner starts to feel like they're losing control. Mm-hmm. So then more excessive measures usually take place. That's oftentimes when more murders occur. So it is very dangerous, and we oftentimes are safety planning when they're calling us and they are they're telling us their story and their situation. We help safety plan with them so that they have the necessary and safe steps that they can take, to help them plan for future, whatever that may be. Mm-hmm. So we have our 24-hour helpline, and that's open to anybody. If it's a friend or family member who knows somebody who's going through an abusive relationship, if it is somebody themselves who is in an abusive relationship and they just want to seek and learn more about our services, they can call it any day or night and learn
someone
more.
will be there to talk to
Yes.
them, and if they knock on the door needing help, somebody will always be there to assist.
Yes. Yep.
Now, do you see that domestic violence affects many different people?
Absolutely. Domestic violence does not discriminate. It affects all ages, genders, sexual orientation, socioeconomic classes. It really does not discriminate whatsoever. So that is something, too, that we serve everybody at Christine Ann. Everyone is welcome. Men, women, children, families, individuals of the LGBTQ community. We are that safe space for them.
That's really good to know. Mm-hmm. And do you see that as well, that sexual assault can occur regardless of...
Absolutely, 100%. We see clients from all walks of life. I think the main difference, as I'm thinking about it, is access to services. So someone that's a little more affluent, a victim, they may be more likely to be able to come and pay for services, pay for a therapist at Reach. So that's why both our agencies provide many free services, just so that they're accessible to all that may not be able to otherwise seek out services. So yes, we see everyone as well.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Did you guys have anything else that you would like to talk about on today's show?
Sure, yeah, just a little bit about, we're always looking for people to engage with our organization. So Alicia and I both do volunteer coordination at Christine Ann, or you might have moved on from that role, but we both are involved with community engagement. So I, for one, train volunteer advocates. So when we go out to the hospital, we provide support for victims who have decided to go in to have a rape kit exam done.
And that's any time, right?
Yes,
that's 3 in the morning?
24/7, yep.
Okay.
So if it's business hours, myself or a coworker will go, but we know that that's not when sexual assaults typically occur, right? So people go into the hospital on weekends, they go at 2 in the morning, so no matter what time of the day or night, someone that goes in to receive that care at a hospital will have an advocate by their side. So I train volunteer advocates to go nights and weekends. I'm always looking for more people to join that team. It's a great opportunity, and we really appreciate their service. So other than that, that's not for everybody. So donations of either, financial support or along with these forensic exams, oftentimes victims have to give up their clothing, especially if it was what they were wearing when they were assaulted. That becomes evidence. So REACH provides donations to the hospital of new sweatpants, t-shirts, underwear, things like that we can give then for a survivor to wear home. So we're always looking to the community for those types of things.
Yeah, those are very important.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and we have a lot of different volunteer opportunities at Christine Ann for people to get involved, whether it's through our special events that we have. We have a 5K run in December that we look for volunteers to help with, called Race for the Light. We also have Men Who Cook, which happens in February. We look for volunteers to help with that, as well as just kind of day-to-day tasks within the shelter, if it's helping keep up with our donations that come in, or helping with children's programs, so being that positive role model and hanging out with children while the parents are going to support groups that we have every night. So those are definitely volunteer opportunities, as well as there is the financial aspect of it. Donations of grocery gift cards, gas gift cards. Transportation is a huge barrier for our clients, so gas gift cards and bus passes are very greatly needed. We also, awareness in general is something that we encourage, wanting to learn more about the topic. It's not necessarily an easy topic to talk about, and some people are kind of afraid to hear about it, but it's really important to learn about it, especially being a manager or a supervisor. If you have any employees who maybe are in an abusive relationship, to know who to contact, what resources to give, what you can say. That's really important. So we do provide community presentations, so we can go into workplaces, we can present at different events, different things where if people want to learn more, we have that option available, and we are happy to do it to educate the community.
And you talk about looking for different signs that somebody is possibly in an abusive relationship. Would that be something you would cover?
We touch on warning signs, different things that, there is the misconception of domestic violence that it's only physical. And in reality, it is so much more than that. There are so many different components and elements of domestic violence: emotional abuse, verbal abuse, financial abuse, physical. There are so many different forms of abuse, so that's something that we try to educate on as well.
Yeah, education is a key piece to this.
Yes, 100%.
So Marianne, can you tell me a little bit more about the upcoming event in October?
Yes, so Take Back the Night, again, is this October 24th. It starts at 5 o'clock p.m. and it will be at Reeve Memorial Union. I should mention for community members, there is free parking in lots 15 and 34, I believe.
Which is good to know.
Yes, parking can often be a hassle and people don't want to deal with it. So we've got that covered so people can come park right across from the Union and join us this year.
Can you bring kids, or is it not appropriate for kids?
They can.
Okay.
Totally up to the parents during the survivor speaker portion if they'd like to leave the room for a little bit. Sometimes, they might not find that they want children exposed to the stories of violence, but absolutely during the event, people can bring their children.
And how long is the story time typically?
I would say less than 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'd be easy to take the kids out of the room and then
Yep.
come back and join.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the march that happens, we do have a moment of silence in front of Christine Ann. There are silhouettes, purple silhouettes, that are lining the fence of Christine Ann throughout the month of October, and those are representing individuals who've lost their lives to domestic violence. Right now, they each have a story on them. Of somebody who passed away in 2017 from domestic violence. So they are all very personalized. So we just take a moment of silence for those individuals and for individuals all over who've lost their lives to domestic violence. And then we continue on our march to Reeve. So we hope that everyone can join us on October 24th.
Well, thank you so much for coming and joining me on today's show, and I look forward to working with you guys in the future.
Absolutely.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
Thank you. Thanks.